You know
Why
what?
don't we just make a Speedwagon truck?
Because not everyone's seen JoJo.
Then make it about, like, the band.
Not everyone knows what that band is. Not everyone's 70.
I
But
will
you
have
know-
you know that I am the exact same age as Araki.
But you know what? I'm really low energy. I think for this intro, I'm gonna need something to really energize myself, like some speed, some WPF speed division.
Did you say you peed yourself?
Sure. My
Look,
name
sometimes
is
when you get a bit
Thudgor.
on in years, you get incontinent. You know, you can't always control it, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. But
I am
I am going to have to put you into a home. And what is our home? That's right, the World Pokemon Federation. Welcome to the Thudgor YouTube
I don't want to
channel.
go to
I
that
am
home.
your host,
That would be
Mancini the
awful.
Amazing. Enjoy the dancing monkey with me.
Yeah, my name is Thudgor. I'm not actually the real Thudgor. I am just a monkey that has been trained to imitate my speech patterns. Which, you
The
know...
monkey is honestly more believable than the real version.
Oh, you know... Yeah, so this is
welcome
Speed.
to Season 12.
Yeah, it's Season 12
I
somehow.
totally did not realize there have been 12 seasons of WPF, of which
Yeah.
I've technically only participated in 11, because one of the VGC seasons didn't count as a regular season.
Yeah.
Just
So there's been a lot, and yeah, we're doing speed power rankings. So as everyone knows, power rankings are the be-all and end-all. If you are ranked low, it is a complete personal attack on you as a person. Yada yada yada. We've essentially just arbitrarily ranked these teams based on how much we like them. We'll give justifications, and do remember
so
that this.
Make sure to toss some sheep's knuckle to make sure, you know, we had an old Norwegian lady interpret the bones for us, and that was how we determined the ranking.
Yeah, I tried to cheap out and get a middle-aged Swedish lady, but apparently that wasn't allowed.
Yeah, it's a real difficulty. There's a lot
Yeah.
more Swedes, you know, in Queensland, and so it was really difficult getting that thing. Because we were obviously quite discriminatory against the Norwegians, given that Norway was a very poor country at the time of that initial thing. It turns out oil makes a lot of countries richer.
Yeah. Anyway, so without further ado, the 16th ranked team is.
And just for context, we're not just, you know, we don't just enjoy this team. In fact, I would say that we're fans. We might even be crazy.
No, I'm not a fan of this team. I hate it.
But this team is this team is painful to look at. Mega Diancie, Volcarona, Dracovic, Excadrill, Azelf, Bishop, Superior, Rotom-Fan, Conkeldurr, Shuckle, and Wobbuffet. If they dropped Rotom-Fan and Shuckle, they could get Gigalith, and this team would have Sand. This team does not have Sand. This team does not support any of its Pokemon. There is no synergy.
It's weird.
Besides, like, having multiple Rock Setters and Rapid Spin with webs. Like, that's not enough synergy in a Boots metagame. This team has, like, I think Azelf and Bishop get knockoff.
Yeah, Shuckle gets knockoff.
And Cock. And Shuckle, that's true.
So they actually have. Does Superior get knockoff? It might.
Superior does. I've run
so they've got a lot of knockoffs. So that's
and you know what? They have Leech Seed support for something.
Yeah. Look.
Corona. I don't know. Nothing.
Look, they've got some individually strong mons and stuff like that.
They have Leech Seed support for Wobbuffet. You leech, and then you switch into the Wobbuffet, and then they just die to Leech Seed.
I feel like Volcarona it's a good Pokemon. Like it's like there are some individually good Pokemon, but I don't think they're just supported that well. Like there's Webs for Dracovic, and that's pretty cool.
The main problem is that Dracovic does not resist ice, so there's no Pokemon that resist both water and ice on this team.
It is a bit weird that Dracovic is going to have to be like there is no defense.
You're school switching.
Yeah, that is a bit odd.
Like Serp and Dracovic both hate switching into school, but they are the water resists.
Yeah, and then like Volcarona,
does Dracovic get water absorb, or is that just the Is that just?
No, Dracovic gets water absorb.
Okay. I know that it gets. Obviously, Strong Jaw is the main thing you would hope to use Dracovic for, and backup is Sand Rush. But do you really want to set manual Sand at this team? I don't think so. And you still don't like taking ice moves with Dracovic or Superior, which is, I suppose, more my issue.
Like, I don't want to be really. Like,
I just don't think this.
We started off being really mean, and I'm trying to sort of step back.
This team is just a bunch of random Pokemon slammed together that if it had sand, I think this team would move up a lot of rankings. But without it, I just don't feel like this team has a real win condition that's actually supporting. Volcarona is a great win condition, but Wobbuffet's the only mon that's really there that is going to do something to help Volcarona win. And Wobbuffet is not the most consistent of Pokemon, which is why it was 2 points. I just don't love it. I don't love it.
Yeah, there's really not that much else to say. It's just these are some individually strong ones.
The way they win is they outplay Crazy with Diancie or Dracovish, because both those mons are very immediately powerful. Beyond that, I just think this team really struggles to have a coherent win condition. I remember really disliking a lot of other teams, and then this team, when we got to it, just wound up really impressing us with just how confused it was. Because I remember thinking this team was really good with the first 4 or 5 mons, and then it never had the sand thing to follow up on the sand core, which I think was a real letdown.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice, but I think we'll just move on.
Alright.
We don't want to just insult poor
and 7-8. Look, I think Ffancrzy is a great player. I enjoy talking to them every time I have.
Yeah.
I was a big advocate back when I was mod to get them into the off season that they first started with WPF in. I think that they're great. I just think that this team was a miss and could really use a couple of transactions.
Look, I will say this is entirely based on what we think the strength of the draft is, not the coach themselves. Yeah.
Look, the only coaches here that I would not go to bat for being good are coaches that I'm not personally familiar with.
Anyway,
there are so many of these teams are coached by excellent coaches, even the ones who we don't necessarily think have the best teams. And honestly, I think there were 7 or 8 different times that I looked at this coach as we were doing speed. I'm like, this guy's down in speed. This coach is in speed, but they're really good, right?
Yeah. Well, number 15, we've got Dan789.
Number 15, Dan789. Last thing you'd want in your New York Mustang is somebody's Gengar, but as it turns out, that might be exactly what you get.
So this is a team that, I think the best way to describe it is something we said.
This is an OU team.
Yeah, it's an OU team. So it's Mega Galadzar or a Gengar Kyurem Moltres is that's a solid OU 5, and then you've got the Klefki or the Illuminal or
Klefki is the Chansey of this Chansey offense team. So Klefki is this team's only non-Hippopotas resist to rock. It's their only resist to dragon. It's their only resist to dark. It's their only non-Lickitung check. Lickitung is their only check to ghost.
Yeah,
there's just a lot of this team. Their only hazard set as well that isn't Hippopotas. So unless they want to bring Hippopotas and chip a lot of their own team down, which I don't think is great, Hippopotas is also setting up a rock-type Weather Ball for opposing teams to deal with Moltres. Never the fave. I don't know. And Kyurem. A lot of these mons just don't enjoy the sand chip.
I mean, I guess Kyurem can run Weather Ball itself, can't it?
That's true. I mean, everyone loves it. Random rock move on Kyurem. It runs ancient. It has ancient power. It's great into opposing Volcarona. So, it's the tech piece for the Ffancrzy matchup.
Yeah.
Look, I think that this Dan's is a great player. I just really think that this team is entirely reliant on breaking through the opposing team and not letting the
if it's ever on the back foot, if it's ever on the back foot, it really struggles to get it back.
The thing that most concerns me is that the lack of consistent rocks is really going to struggle to get you on that front foot in the first place.
Yeah.
Having those rocks up puts you in that position, but now you're risking losing to teams having a sturdy mon or stuff like that, which you really just don't enjoy. Also, Edgequake is terrifying for this team, outside of, again, Hippopotas.
I guess Eldegoss.
Eldegoss is a really interesting Techmon. I think I talked about this bit in Ice, where it sometimes will just absolutely blow away a game if it isn't respected. But I don't know if it takes snap rock moves insanely well.
Yeah, I think that's about fair. There are just going to be some matchups where the top, the top 4 especially, just sort of sit on a team and crush it, and you sort of ride their bones. Well, you know, like as in, you know, they beat them, they freaking grind their bones into, you know, dust and put them in their brain, that sort of thing.
Jack the Giants.
But
Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah, but besides that, it's just like, yeah.
B5 for fun.
I think it is just it. You make a great OU team out of this, but I think it's just a bit too like. I think you went a bit too, you know, like pricey with the top mons, and you couldn't compensate it with the rest of them. But yeah, I mean, I don't think any of these. Like, I don't think any.
That we should have said at the start. This season in standard, so they didn't do this in ice, which is the other PS that I've made so far. They like made mons cost 25 and down instead of 18 and down.
Yeah.
Or 19.
To basically punt to make like the actual really good mons have a pretty strong cost to them.
Yeah. And Mega Galleon and Zero Aura both went up a decent bit. Kurum went a decent, but I think more reasonable amount.
Yeah, and I just like. So I don't think
I don't think Aloma Wall is good this gen either, which is the major problem. Last gen, I think this team would feel a lot better just because of how much better Aloma Wall felt in a gen where it could run like Hidden Power and Wake Up Slap and all sorts of things. But in this gen, it's just too much of Salt Butter.
Yeah, I feel like also like none of the bottom 4 are exactly bad Pokemon, but you want one of them on each draft. You don't want 4 of them.
My problem with Volbeat is the only thing I've ever looked at Volbeat and gone, Volbeat does this well, is beating opposing Mega Gallade. Yeah, and they have Mega Gallade, so why do they have Volbeat?
I'm going to say, I think Volbeat
There's no Tailglow pass.
Volbeat has been on a lot of WPF season winners, though, like a weirdly high amount of them.
Yeah, but how many of those have had Mega Gallades?
Yeah. Anyway, let's get another 14.
Mega Gallade is a really tough matchup for a lot of things. I also think Moltres is just a really good mod that I think we maybe undermentioned. So number 14, and honestly, I think we could say it was destiny for this placement.
Yeah, he's a stinker. He doesn't deserve to be here. He's not good enough for here.
You know what?
It's fate.
That's true. That's true. Maybe he should. Maybe he should consider starting Draft League. That's right. I made a really bad SDL pun.
Got him. Yeah, no. So yeah, this
got him.
He belongs in defense. In fact, he belongs in like below defense. He belongs in. I don't know.
They should bring back D-Div.
Just for
he belongs in. He belongs in like
E-Div. Yeah. No.
I was like, I'm trying to remember what's in Gen 3. He belongs in like the Latios div. You know, Latios div even.
Cascoon div. So no, we've got Kieran Black. I think this was put down because we are Kieran Black doubters. Maybe it's really good. So Kieran Black has been.
No, I didn't say this because I was a Kieran Black doubter. I put this team here because I think Kieran Black and Clefable are the only mons on this team.
I don't agree with that 100%.
Not great on this team. Skarmory is not great on this team. Swampert is okay, but less good with the whole like being pressured to do like a lot of the stuff already. Mega Sceptile is not good. Tentacruel is really weird on this team to me. Obstagoon is okay, but like my issue with this team is that if you have a fighting type that can break Clefable, this entire team just dies. Because any fighting type that can break Clefable can break Tentacruel.
You've got like a Fizdef Sky.
Maybe not Toxicroak, but Toxicroak has a really good matchup against Tentacruel.
Well, what fighting types though can break Clefable?
So the mons that I've like pulled up that when we were talking about this, Surfash was a big one, Zapdos Claw was a big one, but there are a number of other ones that are like you can run a Scarf Surfetch into this team, and if the Clefable has like teleported when they were predicting someone to switch but it actually took damage, you're like generally going to be saccharine them onto it, which is not a great position to be in.
Thank you.
I just think Clefable. I think I'm phrasing it really. I feel like Clefable is over-pressured to be like the defensive centerpiece of this team. Instead of having other good mods to support it, you have Frailmon Infernape, you have Kieran Black with a ton of weaknesses, even though it does have decent defensive stats itself. You have Skarmory, who is not very good at taking special hits at all. You have Swampert, who is great, but doesn't really have that greatest bevy of resists that actually matter for your team, because the only mod that cares about the electric move is Skarmory, right? And then you have 2 ground immunities between Swampert and Mega Sceptile, and then it's like, oh, the Tentacruel cares about electric moves. But again, you have a Kieran Black who resists anyways. Like, why do you care? It just feels like they over-focused on threats that weren't actually problems for the team instead of getting balanced. Like, if you chucked a bulky Psychic onto this team, I'd feel a lot more confident in it.
Okay.
What were the notes we had?
Not as much of a hater, I think. In fact,
this is a 7-mod team as well. This is probably a concept that we should establish. We talked about it briefly at Dan's, how Dan mostly had like 6 mons. Fate has 7 mons. Mega Sceptile and Greedent aren't really going to be doing that much in games, even if they do wind up coming. Maybe Greedent, never Sceptile.
I'm a Mega Sceptile. I'm such a Mega Sceptile hater. I hate it so much.
We have tried a lot to make Mega Sceptile work, and it doesn't.
I've seen so many people try to make it work, and it never does. It just never works.
My main issue also with Gurren Black is in this specific format, Gurren Black is not allowed to run Scale Shot or Dragon Dance or anything else that would boost its speed. So I think that would include Ancient Power, but I'm not sure. The wording just says speed boosting, which I think would include Ancient Power on its face, but.
Personally, I wouldn't include Ancient Power. That's something I might have to actually have a discussion
about. I think he has to get a forfeit loss if he brings Ancient Power. So, Gurren Black without speed boosting. So the way that you should be supporting that, you want webs and knockoff spam, you want T-Wave spam, you want like a glare option, you want something that will actually give Gurren that speed control. Alternatively, you want to have, I think, a Magic Bounce mon. So like a Zatu could be interesting on this team. Or, I don't know, I wish there was a bulkier one that wasn't a Mega, I guess. But that said, this Mega's terrible. Pick up like Mega Sableye. So that you can keep hazards off, so that you can run a boosting item on Gurren Black, whether it be a Choice Scarf, whether it be an offensively boosting item, like Life Orb, like Icicle Plate, like Choice Band. I really think that that's how you should be supporting Gurren Black, and I don't think this team is quite doing it. I don't think this team is like adapted to the concept of a Gurren Black that doesn't have speed control.
Yeah.
Or a Z-moves. You slap a Z-move onto this team, it'd be pretty good.
Gotcha. Z-move. I just don't know how good Gurren Black is in the meta without Z-moves, and without like Scale Shot and stuff. But...
Look, I mean, I'm thinking about this in like how Gen 6 Gurren Black worked, and I don't think this would be a good team in like Gen 6 Gurren Black. And a lot of the mons were around in Gen 6.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
And like Skarmory's better than it was then, and I still don't think it's great.
Well, let's go to 13, I suppose, unless there's anything else you want to say.
No, let's join a whole new world.
We're with Shinrai.
I think Shin means new. I don't actually know Japanese, but I'm pretty sure Shin means new.
And Rai means world, obviously.
Probably.
So, this is a bit of a weird team. This is a team that I think we both said. So, Urshifu, Kartana, Spectra, Mega Slowbro, Chansey, Gligar, Zygarde, Carbink, and Staraptor. I think my big thing is if this was a regular Slowbro as opposed to a Mega Slowbro, I would be way more into this team and I think it would be way better. But I think the fact that it's a Mega Slowbro hurts it a whole lot because, like, I just think...
No grounded poison type.
Yeah.
Toxic Spikes, Ink, Blissey could run boots. Chansey does not do well with boots.
Yeah, like...
My problem with this team is that this team is like a 5-mon team. Like, was the thing I said, because Urshifu is good, Kartana is good, like Slowbro is good, Chansey is good, and Staraptor is good. Spectria is matchup fish, Zygarde is matchup fish, Gligar is absolutely terrible, and your opponents will just set up on you, and you will lose the game if you don't like run like 5 attacking moves on it. Like, it's just absolutely abysmal because of how weak it is. Carbink is a funny tech piece, but it's just a tech piece. This team has too many tech pieces and not enough mons that are consistent game to game. Spectria is amazing at bringing away the game where they don't respect it well enough in prep, or if you get like a really lucky positioning or you really outplay your opponent. But having a team that requires you to play 6, 7, 8 times better than your opponent to win is not a great strategy, at least in my opinion. Like, you could build a team with this basic, like Urshifu is a mon that you rarely have to outplay your opponent to get in position to get value out of it. But then you're putting yourself in a thing where Urshifu is breaking, but your win conditions are entirely reliant on you playing much better than your opponent. It just is a weird, like clash to me. It's Chansey offense.
It is Chansey offense.
It hates switching into knockoff, because it's knockoff switching to Mega Slowbro. Everything else does not like getting knocked off.
I guess Carbink, but how often do you bring Carbink?
Look, I mean, sure, bring Carbink, but Carbink's not going to do anything to punish the knockoff mon 9 times out of 10. It's a funny rocker, it's a funny trick room boomer, but I don't think it's going to win games. That said, Staraptor was cheap, and I think it was a very good pickup on this team. I like it a lot. I like that providing.
Well, like I don't think this team's not unusable or anything. I think it actually I do feel like the sum of its parts are better than its parts, if that makes sense. Because I think it just does synergize pretty okay. With its like sort of core mons, like especially the core at the top. But yeah, it's just I don't know, maybe having two matchup. It has
3 fighting weaknesses, and then Slowbro Spectria as fighting, Gligark's fighting checks, which have its own issues. Again, knockoff, or throat chop, Darkest Lariat, Night Slash, pick your poison.
But just maybe having two matchup.
This team is 6-0'd by Surfetch.
Yeah, but you think every team's 6-0'd by Surfetch?
No, I actually.
That's your go-to one whenever you're trying to prove Pokemon sucks.
Because no, I don't. I don't think Pokemon suck because they lose to Surfetch. Surfetch is just incredibly optimized at punishing certain types of comps, and it doesn't actually do that very well here because it needs to be both Scarf and Crit.
All I'm saying is take a drink every time he brings up Surfetched, and
look, I'm here. I've got like Cordial, and I accidentally clicked Cordial.
And open a GoFundMe account to get a new liver. Alrighty, number 12. I guess.
It's a really you're like, oh, I don't want to be too mean, but just like, oh, number 12, I guess.
Oh no, sorry, I'm just
welcome to Space City.
I was yawning. I was trying.
Elon Musk brought us here.
Oh god. Okay, number 12 is TJ. And then
TJ.
Yeah.
Funny team. Coco, Dio Speed, Ladder T, Sizzle, Gmol, Manaphy, Parisian, Garbodor, Cursula, Megarort. No. This team fell off. It's like this team is consisting of mons that fell off the back of a trailer. They're just randomly put together, and I don't think this team. This team has 2 water resists, being Manaphy and Parisian. This team has 1 fire resist, being Manaphy. This team has 1 rock resist, being Parisian.
That's a lot of pressure on 2 okay mons.
Manaphy. Yeah, do you want to run rest Rain Dance every week? Because if you're a defensive backbone here, they have 1 flying resist in Coco, which is fine bringing it every week, but that means you're pressuring it to have to run Boots Roost most games. And then the removal, despite having 2 really solid spikers in Deoxys and Garbodor, is just default. It's default Lando, default Coco, default Sizzle. I don't actually know if Gmol gets default, but I assume it does.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. So it's just default on mons that aren't always even going to love running that, though Lando can generally get away with it, I think, easier than Coco and Sizzle can. Especially if Coco's feeling pressured to run Roost. And it's just... I don't know. I just think this team is going to struggle a lot. It's just a team that I looked at it and I don't really have strong feelings about this team. It just is a lot of mons that are okay. And I guess they're probably usable together, but they don't do that much.
I think I'm a pretty big Deoxys speed hater, and so are you, so that's... I think some of their ranking might be influenced on that, but this is
I recently have, seen the light about Deoxys speed, and it turns out it's great if you have a team that can use it offensively. Just to break. It's just none of this, I will try to nasty plot and sweep. No, just click a move and do damage. Otherwise, Deoxys is not doing that much.
I also don't have that much to say about this team because it's just kind of there. It's okay. Yeah. I wish I had more to say.
Is also just not good.
Asleep, so.
Parisian is just not good, and I think that's a major flaw this team has because it needs Parisian for a bunch of matchups for no real reason. Zygarde was another one as well.
Alrighty, number 11 now. We've got Paraic.
Rare.
And
the Shannon Shamans.
Yep. We've got Mega Yard.
Gliscor.
Gliscor, Vape, Tyranitar, Tisserina, Blaziken, Jolteon, Torn, Drampa, and Basculin. I think these are just...
Very important.
Yeah. I think these are all individually pretty strong Pokemon. I think this is decent... I think this is a pretty decent team.
Thunderbolt will go to bat for Jolteon.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Like, okay, this team is just weird. It's fundamentally decent. It's got a lot of decent things, but it has one fairy resist in Age Slash because it's fire type. It's Blaziken, which fighting type neutralizes it, and they don't have a poison type. No ground poison type is always awkward. No flying poison type makes that even more awkward because, like, you just get hit by Moonblast and Shadow Ball, and like it's not going to be great. That said, obviously Tyranitar is pretty bulky and can take a lot of Moonblasts, so you don't get forced out as much.
Yeah.
I feel like a good Gliscor team doesn't feel like it has to bring Gliscor every week, and I feel like this team is often going to feel like it has to bring Gliscor every week.
Yeah.
Especially when its other ground check are both Ice Week as well, being Serena and Tornadoes. I think that is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Really strong breakers though. Mega Godbot, great breaker. Blaziken, great breaker. Tyranitar, great breaker. Serena
can be a breaker as well.
Aegislash is a funny breaker, but I hate it, so it's bad.
There's
I don't know why they went Aegislash round 1 when it was that expensive. Basculin.
Banded Liquidations would be there.
Basculin. You mean the Specs Hydro Pump?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fundamentally decent. Oh, and the other thought was that both Gliscor and Tyranitar often have new slot pressure, don't love running rocks, so would have been nice if there had been an alternative rocker as well. Yeah. That was the other thought. Now we're getting to the last of the teams that are just like weird.
Well, we thought were weird, and that was number 10, the PickleNugget. That's what we think are weird, by the way.
So this coach, they drafted, like, they started off with a TR combination, regen core, and then they forgot they were doing that, picked up two solid mons, but both have really poor matchups with flamethrowers. And like, oh no, we're kind of fire weak, so we're going to pick up Xard, and then like, oh gosh, we need to have removal, and Torn apparently isn't good enough for removal because we have Ferrothorn, which is Spike, so we're going to need to get 2 spinners. They're both alright, but I don't like Blastoise that much. And then we are going to get Raichu randomly, probably because it was cheap, and Munchlax also just because it was cheap. This is a 6-mon team. I'm just not sure whether the 6th mon is Blastoise or Donphan most weeks. But the top 5, I feel like, are kind of mandated to come most games.
Yeah, I think the top 5 are like decent, but I think just as you said, I feel like there is a fair bit of overlap with what Ferrothorn and Buzzwole do. Obviously, they can do different things. Ferrothorn's a lot better special defensively than Buzzwole. But, like, there are just... it might feel slightly redundant.
Yeah, the mons, you throw in on Zygarde and hope it does not click.
Yeah, like...
a funny move.
There are a few, you know, like... there are some matchups where it's going to... Yeah, there are some matchups where it's going to be redundant and it's actually going to hurt because it just means all the same coverage hits.
Especially because Cheeking and Ferrothorn are in a similar situation. I do think that is a bit weird. It's going to be a bit awkward. It helps that there are relatively few play roughers compared to Moonblasters. So Ferrothorn is often not going to be pressured into being the fairy check. Charizard can also check fairies pre-mega, less well post-mega, but it can sure as hell throw them out. I think the other thought I had is, both Buzzwole and Xard are really good at just bulldozing through teams. Theoretically, Shell Smash, Blastoise, and Nasty Plot Torn-T can as well. So with positioning, this team can very well smash through teams, and I think that's a big part of why we put it where we did, as high up as it is.
It's definitely not a bad team, you know. Torn-T, Slick, and Gillies are recognized like.
It's just a team that we wouldn't want to love using.
Yeah, so I think that's why it's mostly just subjective. That's why.
I thought they drafted a pretty solid team. If they feel comfortable using it, then it's pretty good.
Yeah,
really solid defensive options was the big
and you know what, they do have spikes and 2 spinners.
I just realized this team doesn't have a fairy type.
Yeah, that is true.
Their only dragon resist is Ferrothorn, which is awkward when Flamethrower exists.
Yeah, that's true. I do like spikes with a spin to help chip things into Xard breaking.
Two spinners, both of which are good at spinning. Now we come to
number 9.
Now we scoot up to number 9, large, number 6 with extra dip.
The Norman fucking Rockruffs, by the way.
So Cinderace is banned on U-turn specifically. It is not allowed to run U-turn, but it can run anything else with Libero.
So
that said, this team like we've talked about the teams which are 6-mon, 7-mon teams, 5-mon teams. This is a 3-mon team, and one of those Pokemon is Glalie. Realistically, it's Goodra.
I think you're a bit of a hater. I think you're a bit of a hater.
I think Crocodile is absolutely terrible, and is even worse on this team than it is generally. Crocodile is garbage, but trying to roll compress this many rolls, like, it's just not good at it. It's genuinely just not good at it. Both of their rock resists are weak to fighting, which is awkward. Neither of their rock resists resist ground, which is awkward. None of their ground resists. Like,
I mean, not that many rock resist ground anyway.
Bronzong. That's why Bronzong is broke.
Yeah, but
I just think Bronzong is phenomenal because, like,
not everyone can have a fucking Bronzong.
Like, so you're switching into like Edgequake is just really awkward. Crocodile is their only ghost check, and Crocodile is terrible, absolutely awful at checking ghosts. I slapped it into the calc, Dragapult, and Dragapult with its barely 100s attack, even timid Dragapult, which it can easily run modest against this team. 3 KOs Crocodile off the rocks with Spec Shadow Ball. That is like you switch Crocodile in once, and then the Crocodile is coming back in, or you're running defensive, and then Crocodile is not really going to be doing that much in the game. It's going to set up rocks, but its damage output is going to be very tragic. And that makes me think Celebi or Cobalion are going to have to come a lot, and both of those are interesting mods, but they're mods that you don't love having, like, bring to games. Like, just a lot of these sort of tech PC mods. I don't know, you've been using Celebi recently. How have you been feeling about it?
I've been using Celebi in Gen 4. It's a big difference. I mean, it was pretty good, but again, it was Gen 4. You know, it's
I mean, it's not like Celebi got many more tools since. It got weaker Leaf Storm, a stronger Energy Ball.
Yeah,
that's about it, right? Like, I can't think of anything else that's happened for Celebi. The other thought process was Hawlucha often feels like it has to come more than you feel comfortable using it as well. Because Hawlucha is solid win condition, but it's not really, I think, great as a game-to-game mod. I think its team really would have benefited from having more depth. But that said, look, I may be proven wrong. Rotom is a mod that I often go to bat for. Cobalion could be a mod that is, like, I know that Riz, for example, goes to bat for it. Venomoth might be solid. I haven't really seen super much that I've been super impressed with in the current gen with it. But look, people did stuff well last gen in the Z-move era, whether it be checking stuff or whether it be offensive. This team definitely could surprise us. But this is like the last team where I'm just like, I'm not sure about it. Whereas I think after this, the teams are just like ranking how really solid a lot of these future teams are.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of these ones are just kind of like, we don't really know how we feel about these.
Yeah.
Whereas these other ones, I feel like we have a lot more forked opinions on.
Right. Number 8, we've got Chandy with the Salt City Slow Brews.
MCs, Victini, Mandibus, Primarina, Raikou, Roserade, Drudgeon, Piloswine, Bahar, and Poltergeist.
Yeah, so, this is just a flying team, I suppose. I think
this is really, really solid momentum. So Mega Sizzle has momentum, Victini has momentum, Mandibus has momentum, Primarina has momentum, Raikou has momentum, and they're like a lot of the core mods you're going to bring.
Yeah.
But a lot of the tech pieces can slot in over those slots. Because Roserade, Druddigan, and Piloswine are all very easily bringable to games. Poltergeist is one of those matchup fish mons that can come, and I think I've seen it do decent work as like just like throwing specs on it, because you punish a lot of the mons that try and come in to check the Shell Smash variants. And Beware is fine. Beware is like
Beware's pretty good.
Beware's a really specific niche.
Yeah, but it's also it's
Beware is a fake dark type because it resists dark and is immune to ghost. That's right.
Yeah, and it's also going to be it's also the rock resist here for this team, which is actually going to be pretty important, I think, for the matchup.
It is.
So I think it's going to show up a fair bit, which positive or negative, I don't know.
The downside, I think, to Beware is that Fluffy, it doesn't apply to non-contact moves, so it doesn't apply to Edgequake. It does apply if you have like a grassy terrain.
Yeah, it's still pretty bulky. Isn't it still pretty Fizz Def bulky even without?
I think it's like okay. It's like comparable like a Shifu, which is fine. I mean, we looked at another team that had a Shifu as like a major check. It is 120-80.
It's okay. Yeah.
60 SPDF is probably going to be scary, but it's like, well, I mean, we've got a team coming up that might have like the occasional technic for it. But no, I think Druddigan Claire support is really solid here. I think Roserade is pretty interesting. I think the concern I had was that they had weird Scarfers or Victini. So like, look, I have scarfed most of the mons on this team before. I have scarfed Victini before, obviously. I think I did scarf Mandibuzz once because I was really scared about a particular mon who I can't even remember is at the time. It was probably an Ubers. Primarina I've absolutely scarfed. Raikou I've absolutely scarfed. Roserade I think I scarfed last week. Druddigan I have scarfed before. Piloswine I have scarfed before. Beware I have scarfed before. And if Poltergeist can choice specs, I'm pretty sure it can scarf. But you are often going to want to run one of these weirder scarfers. Oftentimes not going to be faster enough to revenge opposing mons, because you want Victini to be able to be as diverse and as powerful as it can be when you have more of a flexibility as an item, whether it be an offensive item, whether it be like your choice band or your choice specs, whether it be like boots, whether it be like a life orb, whether it be like even like a Shuka Berry or what have you. And I think losing that flexibility is unfortunate.
Yeah.
That said, I think he did draft a solid team.
Yeah, that basically sums it up as well as I can. I think it's just solid. There's some decent combos here. Yeah. Let's move on before I fall asleep.
So now I suppose we'll have to go to in the middle. That's right. Who do we have in the middle?
No, but he's 7th. That's not the middle.
Yeah, the middle is like 7 to 10.
No.
All right.
You've lost your pun privileges.
We're officially moving Malcolm to 8th because,
to save your pathetic puns. Okay, yeah, we've got Malcolm with the Philadelphia Phantoms.
In the middle.
Mew, Garchomp, Corv. I think those 3 are just ridiculous. And he's also got Ninetales,
funny, Volcanion funny, Gyarados funny, Tangela funny, Hailcore funny.
Yeah, it's got a Hail Core, and also I think Ninetales can also just come as Veil support for Mew and Gyarados, and possibly Garchomp as well.
I really
set up and just kind of go ham.
I really like the double water on this team as well.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. It means that you've got a bunch of really solid 5 checks, which is nice when you have Corv, you have both the Hail Mons, and you have Tangler, all not wanting to take 5 moves, and then you also have Blissey taking on the special ones as well. It really mitigates one of the strongest offensive types in the game. And Gyarados is honestly a pretty decent win condition here. I think Arctozolt is really annoying to prep for, so a lot of people have to respect it. Garchomp and Mew themselves are phenomenal win conditions, and there's a lot of funny Corv sets that you can pull out. So I really think that this team is incredibly flexible in ways that a lot of the teams before have felt constricted in their team building. I don't feel like this team feels constricted. However, 1 Rock Resist, 1 Ghost Resist, 1 Dark Resist, unless you count Scracky.
Yeah.
Which I often don't. Also, the Dark Resist is a LOL and 9/10s, which is less great.
It's like, that's good SPDF Dark-wise, not so much physical Dark-wise. Granted, Corviknight can probably take some of the slack for some of the weaker ones, but still, it's, like, Corviknight and Blissey can take the slack for, like, a little bit, but obviously there's still going to be some matchups where they're a bit compromised.
Not having a Mega also means that you feel annoyed about switching into knockoff.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, the main trade-off downside to not having a Mega in this format, or having a Mega that is weak to Dark.
Yeah.
But I really like this team.
I think it's pretty solid.
Really is positioned to use Volcanion really well, which is something I love.
Yeah, I think it's solid.
All right.
Number 6.
So next time we have to take roll call. Do I have an A wrong?
You're stretching here. Yeah, we've got Aaren with Zapdos, Mega Mawile, Weavile, Nidoking, and Slowbro. And those are a really solid top 5.
Also,
I think
Arcanine.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I think that top 5 is just gonna you set it and forget it. If you know what I mean. I think those are coming to most games.
Nidoking cannot come to games.
Possibly. Well, yeah, but and then they've also got Arcanine, Chestnut, Liepard, and Illumise. Arcanine and Chestnut are both fantastic 6th mon options, and possibly, you could probably bring them both and cut one of those out. So I think this is a very solid 7 mons. I think Lipard's a little interesting because your other fast Pokemon is also a Dark type. So,
it's the only other mon over 100 base speed besides Weavile, which is a bit weird.
The team is a little slow for this, and also, there's nothing wrong with having two of the same type of Pokemon, I think, but they have to do different things.
And Lipard can do different things, but Lipard and Illumise both serve like random pranks to BS.
Yeah.
But one of Lipard's traits that is decent is its ability to run like a choice band set, but you already have Weavile doing a fairly similar role.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand why they picked up two of these sorts of tech pieces. They would have benefited picking up like a Cinccino or something.
But besides...
just to fill out that speed tier, just to give you an option for a faster Scarfer as well. Because you're not really going to love Scarfing Lipard instead of Japlet, so it could be great. And you don't love Scarfing Nidoking, and you don't love Scarfing Weavile, you don't love Scarfing Arcanine, you don't love Scarfing Zapdos.
Yeah.
But you do love Scarfing Chestnut.
Yeah, but
I have run a Scarf on way too many Pokemon in my life.
Yeah. But look,
I've run a Scarf on Slowking, but not Slowbro.
Sad. Yeah, but I think besides that, it's been pretty good. There are a lot of just solid 1-2 Pokemon, Pokemon sort of combinations here.
They have some of the best breakers in the game. Look, Mega Mawile, Weavile, Nidoking, phenomenal breakers. Slowbro's future sites are supporting this team amazingly well. Zapdos pivots in a way that breaks.
Yeah.
But yeah, the speed and revenge options are mostly just Weavile, and then E-Speed Arcanine, Sucker Punch Mawile. Sucker Punch Mawile is inconsistent for its own reasons, and then Weavile and Arcanine are decent damage output, but if something's like a fast water type, that could be its own issues.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Strong team.
Yep.
It's funny because I think when we first started looking at the teams, early on, Aaron's team started near the bottom, but we just kept adding teams.
To be fair, that's
I think Aaron's was the fourth team we looked at.
It was the second.
It was the second? Okay, yeah that'll do it.
Anyway, number 5 is Tark with the Bangkok button clickers.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that the King of Thailand is great. A lot of respect to him. We have never at any point slandered him, and I would like him to see. I would like the Thai government to cease proceedings against me and re-allow my content in their country. Unrelatedly, so Landorus, Rotom Wash, Jirachi, Mega Tyranitar, Komoa, Blacephalon, Whimsicott, Weezing, and Apple.
Yeah, this is 9 solid Pokemon, I suppose.
This is a 9 Pokemon team that isn't a 7-mon team or a 6-mon team. Yeah. These are just 9 mons that are bringable. Look, Ampon, a little bit less bringable, but honestly, it genuinely really can come to games. I've used it, I've seen others use it, I've had it used against me, and it can come to games. Its speed tier is just useful enough. You can run Scarf if you need to, and honestly, Technician is just a very funny ability.
Yeah. So this team, I think...
Especially with low kick. Technician low kick is very funny when a Pokemon is base 60, so they're taking base 90. Oh, sorry.
But yeah, this team does sort of, I think, just support itself pretty well. You've got you can go I think there are multiple, again, as we've said before with some other teams, there are multiple ways you can play this. You can play the long game, you can play more offensive. They've got flexible Pokemon like Rotom Wash, like Jirachi, like Mega Titar, like Komoa that can be both offensive and defensive. And then you've just got Landorus to break things, and you've got Blacephalon as a Revenger as its own sort of
win condition as well.
Win condition, yeah. I think it just all sort of plays out pretty well.
This team is that this team is the most consistent rocks of any of the teams we've looked at so far.
Yeah.
Jirachi, great rocker. Tyranitar, amazing rocker. Komoa, really solid rocker. Landorus can rock in situations, and it's not terrible at it because it does often get the opportunity. If you feel like your opponent's going to be defogging a lot, it's a decent one to do it.
Yeah.
But or even if you're going to be defogging a lot with Rotom.
Yeah.
So I really feel like this team, it really comes together in ways that these 9 mons just feel like such a tight package, and I think this team even benefits from the ability to throw.
I can't not giggle when you say tight package while looking at his fucking logo.
Yeah. Let it be known that there are intentional ways that I am deciding to cram in and place and really put the words within one another. No. I totally have not been poisoned by the internet. This team also is really solid sustain, which I like. Jirachi is a great wish Pokemon. Rotom is a really good defogger. Whimsicott can leash seed pretty well, especially like with the Prankster Encore, can really give it the opportunity to get leech seed health out to other mons or position really really solidly, as well as Whimsicott Prankster Encore being a really good like tech for opposing setup. And Mega Tyranitar and Komoa are amazing setup win conditions.
It's
in some matchups, like we've seen a lot of teams that don't have great rock matchups, and you can just run rock polish on Tyranitar and it will be able to win.
Yeah, it's just I just think it works, all comes together pretty well. I think it's a solid really package.
Dislike Persephone, but in recent years, months, I've become much more a fan of it. Just kind of, it's a Scarfer that just wins the game if you're well enough positioned. So like it revenges their win condition, but also just wins because their stuff is in range, which is a really unique thing that not a lot of mons can do. And like your Arcanas and Bucephalons can.
I'm still a hater, but it's whatever.
I'm just less of a hater.
Go to number.
I realized the ghosts were broken.
Let's go to number 4 with Colej's Chipper.
We've got down in the mines.
Look, the Dragon Ball team not being number 1. What is this? Yada yada yada. No,
is that a thing? Is that actually a thing?
Because this feel like it is.
Pick 1 pulp.
No, this was not pick 1 pulp. This was pick 6.
Pick 6. Sorry. Working on a few different divisions. This was the only div where pulp was not.
Well, look, Dragapult, Zapdoscala, and Melmetal. That's 3 very strong, like very like mons that can really fucking cause a lot of trouble.
And like can win.
Then you've got some pretty good support with them, with like P2, Bulu, Umbreon, Empoleon,
also Empoleon.
Yeah, and
Scolipede was a steal. It was at 10 points, which I think is really good. Mega Camel is honestly really solid into this team.
Yeah, there's a really good.
Regular Metric and Water, all that interesting options as well.
Yeah, like there's a really good sort of Trick Room variant you can go with this. Bulu, I think, supports this team really well. Not only does it help against with the ground matchup for some of the Pokemon, but also because this team doesn't actually use Earthquake, but it likes it being weakened a lot. But also it does give a lot of passive recovery for stuff like Dragapult, Melmetal, Mega Camerupt, and Empoleon. P2, yeah, that can really help out the sustain.
I mean, Porygon 2 with leftovers and EVO is the more terrifying thing. I think we were looking at it, and Porygon 2, I think, was the Surfetch check on the team.
Take a drink, everyone.
I don't think it was. I forget. It's like,
I swear to God,
it had such a dry evening on account of the fact that it's just been like the first time I've mentioned it since the drinking game started.
Yeah, because you've shut up about it. It's all he talked about for like 2 hours.
So basically, I talked about it for a bunch of teams that are at the bottom of the list, and then I talked about it for this team, and nothing else. But you know what? Man's
like this, I will say. So there is
this team also doesn't like the Halucha matchup.
Yeah, there is some overlap in weaknesses. Yes. So Porygon 2, Umbreon, Melmetal, and Empoleon all being weak to fighting is a bit rough, especially with the fighting resist being Zapdoscala, Bulu, and Scolipede and Dragapult, and the first 3 all are weak to flying. So this team is absolutely eaten alive by Halucha and Zapdoscala.
And Bulu are also all weak to ice, so if Scolipede doesn't come, then click Ice Punch. Look, if you have him on top shop, I don't think anyone drafted it, but like you have a Mega Gallade or a regular Gallade clicking Triple Axle.
Yeah. Like
they're really prediction reliant against fighting types in a really uncomfortable way. And if their fighting type has Scrappy, then they don't even have the Pult option. And Pult is probably going to be on the team 9 games out of 9.
Yeah.
So going down from having like 2-3 checks sort of thing to having 1, really rough.
Yeah, but this is still I think a pretty.
It's a really strong team. It's a really strong team with one specific weakness that other players have to really exploit that weakness.
There is a bit of some awkward speed tiers as well. Like it's Dragapult to Scolipede, and then it's
Scolipede to Manectric to Zapdos,
and then Zapdos to
not
Bulu.
Really a speed tier. Manectric is also not really a speed tier.
Yeah, the Zapdos to Bulu, and that's a bit
only
of a gap.
Bulu and Melmetal, you actually invest speed of it, like a lot of speed in of the slower mons.
Yeah, so that is also a bit awkward, but
it should be fine. I think Bulu's actually a really decent pickup in terms of like forcing your opponents to run speed.
I think
base 9s, base 95s all have to run speed for it.
I think it's great in this team. Yeah.
I really like this Bulu pickup.
Yeah.
Okay, so I suppose
Number 3 then.
To come pick a flower. I can't do it. It's like I can't. My brain is too.
Please
I want to do
stop.
something.
For the good of mankind, stop. Okay, there is just no. Okay, well, we've got Lily, and her team is Celesteela, Mega Garchomp, Lycanroc Dusk, Uxie, Decadooey, Comfey, Salazzle, Snorlax, Crawdaddy, Rotom Frost, and Smeargle. And when I first looked at this team, I thought this team would be, I would hate this team, but I think it actually comes together in a pretty satisfying and synergistic way.
I love this team. So I think this is Celesteela is a mon that I think is either on bad teams or great teams. This team, I love Celesteela on because it has two of the best other leech seeders, like leech seed options, because instead of having two grass types, it has Comfey, which is an extra leech seeder, so you get leech seed support from Celesteela and Comfey. But also you have Decidueye, who, on top of being a leech seed option, also can Spirit Shackle the trap the grasses that threaten, like stop you from leech seeding. So you Spirit Shackle them, you Brave Bird through them all, do whatever move it makes the most sense to do, and that's great. On top of that, this team has amazing priority. Dustrock, Accelerock, Decidueye, Sneak, Comfey, Giga Drain, and Draining Kiss, Crawdaddy, Aquajet, and I think there was another one.
Smeargle, every single priority in
Smeargle,
the world.
Vacuum Wave. Or it might have just been like Scarfing or whatever. Still,
Yeah.
4 is good. 4 is good. Like, this team's really strong. Also, Mega Garchomp, really solid mon. Uxie, really solid mon. Yeah, sorry, specifically also, like, Uxie, Lax, Mega Garchomp all appreciate getting Leech Seed into them. And I really like Crawdaunt as a breaker on this team. Yeah, tanky options for Revenging, and they have good hazard, like, setting between, like, Dustrock and Mega Garchomp regularly. I think they're both good rockers, and then Smeargle also adding a webs pressure, so opposing teams do have to respect it.
Yeah.
Because Mega Garchomp under webs is just an absolute
nightmare. There is some awkward speed tier wise, so again, Comfey you don't really run actually that much speed on. So really, these speed tiers are Lycanroc Dust to Mega Garchomp, which is a bit of a big one in a very important area.
92 to 110, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's my major criticism of it.
We do know that some things happened, and a great tragedy as it goes, but alas.
You mean the like literally while we were discussing this team, we saw that most of this teams
came in
changed.
for week 2, and I am not enthralled by them.
Oh well.
But if Lily is more comfortable with that team, that's mostly going to do a thing. Lily is a great coach, and she's going to do well if she feels comfortable with the team.
So let's go on
now
to number 2.
Now we have to enter the zone.
Yeah, so this is number 2. Is Delp with the Southern Sandslash. This is just a team that I really like and I would love to use.
This is a team that we would draft.
Yeah, I'd fucking love this team, man. Boomer, Tran, Greninja, Nidoqueen, Togekiss, Latias, Mega Heracross, Lantern, Kamala, and Shedinja.
And Shedinja is a very, very important thing. It provides an ice immunity to this team, which no other team has so far, which I'm deducting points from them. This team is amazing synergy. Rillaboom is absolutely great with Heatran. Nidoqueen is one of the best ground types to have on a Rillaboom team because of that earth power. It's up there with like Zygarde and Landorus I specifically. Togekiss, phenomenal poke on this team. It's like very capable of just being a win condition. It can spread Power Spam, which is great, and it can really threaten to chunk through and force out a lot of mons which might otherwise check it, and also wind up trying to check Rillaboom, which is really solid. Greninja, phenomenal Pokemon. Spikes are really nice for this team. Having both Greninja and Mega Heracross with Spikes is really, really delicious.
Yeah.
And Lantern's great. It was really cheap in this league too.
Yeah, and just like Mega Heracross, it provides a slow pivot to get in your like Mega Heracross, your Heatran, your Latias, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Putting aside the ice immunity of Shedinja, this team is kind of ice weak, especially Shinrai weak, because Greninja, Lantern, Heatran are the ice resists, and Rillaboom, Nidoqueen, Togekiss, and Latias are all ice weak. So that can be a concern. Like, this team's Cura matchup is pretty shaky, but it can definitely out-position to be able to win itself.
Yeah, and
just not against Weavile.
Yeah, but it's
I think this team's great.
Yeah,
look, if they're
good defensive combo.
It's like, if the most like obscene like criticism for your team is weak to Curum, you've probably done something right.
Yeah. I think that's it.
I think the win conditions was the other thing I wanted to mention. Rillaboom is a really good win condition. Togekiss can be a solid win condition. Sub-Heracross can honestly just win games, and Latias is a good win condition itself.
Yeah. No, it's good.
I really
like it. Yeah.
Also, it has Spin Fish Ninja, which is pretty important.
Yeah, it does.
All right, finally, we have the team. And wow, if you guys are from the future and have seen Mr. Thudgore's draft breakdown, then you'll be like, huh, this team looks kind of familiar. Because it turns out that...
What? What are you talking about?
Didn't you say that this team has like half of your team?
Yeah, from Trickhouse, you dingus.
Oh, from Trickhouse, you're right. Did you do a draft breakdown?
No! Jesus.
I'm very tired, okay?
Yeah, okay, but no, so what I'm saying is, I really like Zemacy, and I think Hydreigon's really good. I think, like, Zemacy and Rotom-Heat is a really ridiculously strong combination that I have seen succeed in a lot of places, and that's really great. Zemacy and Mega Pidgeot I've seen do really well. Just, like, Zemacy with pivots that have, like, good special attack is just really strong. There's, like, you have Tangrowth and Slowking as a kind of pretty decent, like, synergistic regen core.
Minor regen core. You have Scyther, who's honestly a really interesting kind of, like, revenge killer for this team with quick attacks, as well as being able to break. Rona Regis is really funny on this team as well.
Well, it is the only rocker, which is a bit of a concern.
It's the only rocker. And also, but not the only toxic spiker, because of course we do have our good friends Shelmet and Gia Galarian Weezing.
Yeah,
I love this team. Look, one rocker is a concern, but this team has such an incredibly consistent pivot core with Hydreigon, Slowking, Rotom-Heat, and then potentially Pidgeot, as well as Tangrowth in a more soft pivot sort of area.
Yeah,
it has great win conditions. It's very true that I think
Scyther can pivot, like it can.
A bit more challenging. It can. It's maybe a bit more challenging. I think it's more game-to-game specific.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of teams that struggle with Scyther's speed tier. We've seen a lot of teams that don't really take hits that well from Scyther. And we've seen a lot of teams that just get completely eviscerated by fighting types. And, it's the best fighting type in the format. That's crazy.
I just
also,
think this...
wasn't this mod like not 25 points?
It was 23 points, yeah. I think it was like really good value for it, because as it turns out, it's pretty good. Because like Zemacy, like worst case scenario is going to 1v1. It's like, it's probably going to 2v1, because like you can't exactly... It's so bulky, you can't exactly revenge kill it with most Pokemon. Like it just, well, does it survive your favorite Pokemon Surfetched?
I would imagine it would not survive Crit Fetch, but it would survive CB Fetch,
Yeah.
I don't think it would survive Crit Fetched.
No, but like, so it's got like
it's a 75% chance to OHKO with Crit Fetched, and it's always living if it's not Crit Fetched.
Yeah. So like it's it's just
it turns out having +1 defense when you have 115 defense is okay.
Is it only 150? Isn't it 100?
Oh, sorry. I was calculating regular Zamazenta, not Crown Zamazenta.
Yeah.
That means it definitely dies.
Yeah, it does mean it definitely dies. But it's 145 defense +1, really strong, very hard to revenge it with things.
It dies to choice bands, not just crit. So crit only kills the crit also kills regular Zamazenta.
Yeah. But I don't know, this is just really, really, really strong. And I think it's going to cause a lot of pain. Zamazenta. I believe Zamazenta. I'm fairly sure.
Now.
Yeah.
Hydreigon kill lead.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure Zamazenta Rotom-Heat was the key behind Rom. I think he won speed or came runner-up in speed last season, and that was a very key part of it. Of just how well it synergized. But then he's just got so many other good synergies that just. I saw this team, it was the first team that we ranked, and we're just like, oh yeah, this team's ridiculous, and if any team beat it, it would be insane. Yeah. Like, I can't talk about it more highly, but I guess that's the end of this power ranking. Yeah. I hope you all enjoyed listening to the tired ramblings of two Australians past midnight. I regret all of my life decisions up to now, and I'm gonna go to bed. So say goodbye.
You being too busy to get like some of the basic aspects of this tunnel lunch.
Say goodbye.
I hope you guys have a lovely evening.
Goodbye.